In this video, we'll talk about simple interest. So the main formulas that we need to know to solve simple interest problems are I equals PRT and A equals P plus I, which if we do a little bit of math by writing P plus, instead of I writing the formula above PRT, factoring out P, we get A equals P times 1 plus RT, where I is the interest amount. So like, for example, we have to pay $50 in interest or $125 in interest. P is the principal, which means the money that we have now. R is the interest rate, which is usually in percentage, 3%, 5%, but when we replace it in any of the formulas above, highlighted in yellow, we have to change it into a decimal, and to do that we divide by 100 because that's what percentage, it's 100. And T is the time, but also it has this condition that it's in years. So if, for example, T is given in 3 days or 1 month or 6 months, we have to convert it in years. So if it's not in years, you have to convert it. Okay, so let's take a look at a few problems. So the very first problem says if you have $1,250 and you put it in an account for 4 years at 7 1/5% simple interest rate, find the simple interest amount and also find the future value, the amount you will receive after 4 years. So first let's write what is given. If you have 1,250, so the principal, it's 1,250. You put it in an account for 4 years, so that means time equals 4 years. The interest rate, R, equals 7 1/5%. Now I'm going to change this into a decimal by writing this. 7 1/5 means 7 plus 1/5. That's what it means, 7 1/5. 7 plus 1/5. And if we compute 1 over 5, it's 0.2. So this means 7.2%, which means divide 7.2 by 100, or move the decimal point 2 places to the left, so we get 0.072. This is the R that we are going to replace into the formula. And they want us to find simple interest amount. So first, we want to find I. And the second thing that we want to find is the future value, or the amount you will receive after 4 years. And this is the future value formula. A equals P times 1 plus RT, or A is what we want to find. So now let's start replacing in the formulas and computing. So I equals PRT. Now P it's 1,250 times R is 0.072. We did the math, and times 4, which is the year. So I'm going to use the calculator to the left to compute that. 1,250 times 0.072 times 4, enter, and the interest amount is 360. So this is how much you will earn from having the 1,250 in the account for 4 years, in the amount that you'll earn in interest. Now the final amount is the amount that you started with plus the interest that you just earned. So it is 1,610. Right? 1,250 plus 360, and that's 1,610. Okay, now let's take a look at another situation. Example 2. Example 2 says, find the amount you need to have today that will produce in 6 months the amount of $2,000 at a simple interest rate of 19.5%. So we need to find P, right? Find the amount you need to have today. The time is 6 months, but we saw that this has to be changed in years. So we do 6 months times 1 year over 12 months, because 1 year is 12 months. This month cancels with this month, 6 with 12, and we get 1/2 year. And I did all the work because while everybody knows that 6 months is half of a year, what if you had 3.2 months or 5 months or something like that? You would still follow the same conversion by multiplying by 1 year over 12 months. They also give us that it will produce the amount of $2,000. So the future amount is $2,000. And the interest rate is 19.5%, which we change it into 0.195 by dividing 19.5 by 100, or moving the decimal point 2 places to the left. So moving it here, it makes it 0.195. So now let's write the formula. A, it's equal to P times 1 plus RT. Instead of A, we put 2,000. P is the amount that we want to find, the principal. 1 plus, instead of R, I'm going to write 0.195, and instead of T, I'm going to write 1 over 2. So I'm going to calculate the parentheses to the right. So 1 plus 0.195 divided by 2 equals 1.0975. Let me double check if 0.195 divided by 2, because that's what I want to do first. Okay, and then plus 1. So the order of operation is applied correctly. The division was done first and then added 1. Now, in order to find P, we're going to divide both sides by 1.0975. So we get P, the principal, is, so I need to divide 2,000 by 1.0975. I divided just by 0.0. So we get 1,822.32. This is how much money I need to have now, that if I invested at 19.5%, I'm going to get 2,000. Also, while 19.5% interest rate, it's pretty high for investments. It's kind of hard to find an account that does that. We can think of credit cards. If, for example, you spend 1,822 today on a credit card, and the credit card has a simple interest rate of 19.5%, well, in 6 months you will have to pay back $2,000. And if you want, we can actually go an extra step and say, well, the $2,000 minus 1,822.32, that amount, 2,000 minus 1,822.32, is going to be 177.68. It's the amount of interest that you will have to pay to the credit card. Okay, and also I hope you notice how while the answer in the calculator has more than 2 decimals, I rounded to 2 decimals because we're talking about money, so that the 2 decimals are representing the cents. And let's see one more problem. It says, find the simple interest rate that is needed to increase $12,000 to $15,000 in 2 years. So again, the future amount is equal to principal times 1 plus RT. The future amount is 15,000 The principal is 12,000, and then 1 plus r times 2. The time is in years, so we are good. Now, again, we want to find r. So what I'm going to do first, because here is times between them, I'm going to divide by 12,000 both sides, and we get 15 over 12 equals 1 plus 2r. Then I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides, so 15 over 12 minus 1 equals 2r. We can multiply by 12 over 12, so we get 3 over 12 equals 2r, or 1/4 equals 2r. We divide by 2 both sides, and we get r equals 1/8, or r equals, well, 1 divided by 8 is 0.125, but I can write this as a percentage by multiplying 0.125 by 100%, so that means 12.5%. So this is the simple interest rate that you would need to increase a $12,000 to a $15,000 in 2 years. Now I want you to be careful, because later on you're gonna learn compound interest. So when you read the problems for a finance example, make sure you read carefully, because simple interest rate means use these formulas that we wrote here, and the compound interest rate, it's a totally different formula and a totally different situation. I hope this helps.